I don't like to reinvent the wheel. I use and borrow everyone's stuff. Most everything I say is not original. It's not original. Before I get in, someone said something about the bulk buying. My theory on this is if the church is paying for it, then you look for the cheapest per unit. But if the church isn't paying for it, you let people on their own go and be the hands and feet. And that's why when someone said that about, yeah, you could get turkeys, so many cents cheaper a pound if you bought in bulk. You just robbed the whole congregation of going with their family to go buy a turkey and then pray for that turkey before they bring it. So I'm all for that, but I have a staff guy that is always wanting to go to Sam's or whatever, and I always say, now, does the church have to take care of this? Have we robbed someone of a ministry opportunity because of it? And I do appreciate his creativity with that as well. Oh, I forget. I don't know how many of you how many days who's been here, but I'm Doug Wyatt, and I pastor Hutchinson First Church of the Nazarene. I love my community. I'm going to say, wherever God places you, you need to fall in love with it. And I fell in love with it before I stepped foot, as in my residence, my address became that. For me, in the interview process, I asked God, I always drag my feet to yes, because I love where I'm at. So when God asked me if I would consider moving, when the DS called me from Mandan, North Dakota, which is God's country, the Dakotas is the best kept secret in the United States, in my opinion. You can go 2 hours and not see another soul, and that's a blessing, believe me. There are people that move there that have to move away just because they're used to so many people and buildings. But when he called, my reaction is, and he asked me if I would consider moving, my reaction was, if I gave you a human answer, I don't have the right to give a human answer, because I don't have the right to say no to anything God says without talking to him about it first. So I said my knee-jerk reaction is I'd say no, because I love where I'm at. But I don't have that right. So let me pray, and with my wife and those of you that are married, your wives are very discernful, and lean heavily on your spouse, I should say. Hutchinson's 42,000 people. Our county is Reno County, 64,500. When a survey was done claiming religious identity, 30,000 of the 64,000 did not claim a church regularly attending. Now, most all of them would, if they needed a funeral, call a church, but that doesn't mean if you're not regularly attending a church, you are free game at Hutch First. So if you, so that tells me that not long, we're going to be running 30,000 in attendance, because it's my desire that everyone in my ministry responsibility, everyone would come to know the Lord. I love John Hauser's term. He used the term pre-Christian, and that tells me that it won't be long, and they will be. They will be a believer here long. That's our little town. Those are our little streets. My little address is there on Main Street. I love it there. I hope you love it here. I've been driving around Carthage. Dustin has to love this place, man. This is a great little town. What a privilege. It's not better than Hutch, though. I tell our people regularly, we're a Great Commission, Great Commandment church. The problem with saying it is actually doing it. We have to do what we say. And I think one way is reaching to our community. So the first, I have this divided up into 5, and I'm going to try to rush through so that if you have a question or two. We do what we call large events at our church, and they try to reach more masses as we can, whatever definition of mass would be for you. My question to you is, Are you looking for what's already happening in your community and capitalize on that? Like I said, I don't reinvent the wheel, so I look and see what is already happening. In every community, there's something happening bigger than the community. Even if it's pig wrestling championship, there it is. We have the National Junior College basketball. Every year we host it at our town, so I'm responsible to make an impact there. Every year, the State of Kansas Fair is hosted in Hutchinson, Kansas. I'm responsible for that. When I arrived there, my staff told me and the church, the motto for the 2 Sundays that the fair is going, fair's 10 days over 2 Sundays, the motto is don't fight the fair. Don't fight the fair. And those 2 Sundays were down a couple hundred people in worship because Hutchinson is the hands and feet of the fair. We have many people that own booths, that work, we're the ones that do it. So I said, well, if you don't fight the fair, then let's take the church to where people are. So I went to the fair and asked that first year, is there a building we could use and have church here on the grounds on that Sunday? And they gave us a building that held 800 for free, which was nice. And so we had church that day, and we didn't have any room left in the building. So I went to the fair and asked if we could rent the arena. And so we pay them to rent the arena, and we give free tickets to anyone that comes to church to the fair. You have to have a fair ticket, which is $7 a whack, in order to walk in. The fair gives us a $2 discount, so we pay $5 a person for anyone that we gave away 1,000 tickets 3 weeks ago to go to the fair. The good news is everyone's buying into it, and it's costing us budget-wise about $5,000. Now we had over 1,500 on that Sunday, and we had a number give their lives to the Lord. And better yet, talk about a reputation in a community. Everyone that showed up that day now for the fair that morning comes. So look and see what's happening there, that it can be mass. I believe in egg hunts still. I think that if you're a parent of a young child, you try to find somewhere to go for that. I believe in fall festivals and trunk or treats still. I believe, I don't say the H word, but I believe on October 31st, everyone is trying to find somewhere for their kids to have fun. So why shouldn't it be you? And so you need to do it better than anyone else can do it, and especially better than walking to a stranger's house. I don't know why anyone would do that, but apparently there are still people that do that. And so we do have a fall festival, trunk or treat, whatever you want to call it, your deal. But I would say that's a mass thing. We turn our building upside down. I tell our people, instead of complaining about scrapes on the wall and tears in the carpet and stains, you need to praise God for that, because that represented someone that was willing to scrape our wall. And everyone is like, oh, and I really praise the Lord for that. What an honor to replace our carpet. What a privilege to repaint our room. Shouldn't we be on a rotation anyway in our churches? Shouldn't we be Okay, that's a whole other thing, right? When Fireproof came out a number of years ago, we gave every fireman, Mr. Fireman, we gave every fireman in our community a free ticket to go see Fireproof as a gift from the church. We had a letter, we gave them a ticket, they went, it's our gift, thank you for your commitment to the community. There were no strings attached, they went, but as a result of that, our church got eventually two couples, because one lady admitted, it makes me emotional, admitted to her husband after the movie that she was having an affair. And she apologized to him. It was messy, so messy. But in the end, they reconciled. And wouldn't you know, when her husband said, what do we do? She goes, First Nazarene's the one that got us to go to the movie. Why don't we show up over there? And so to me, that's just think out of the box, creative on that. I think at our church, productions still work. At our church, believe it or not, we have a choir. Really, we have a choir. We have an orchestra. I somehow believe that if God gifts a violinist to play, why can't they play in a church? Whether it's guitar, I know our theme now is all guitar and all that, but one of our 2 services is choir-led, not worship team-led, and we have a full orchestra. And it's our other one is worship team-led and praise band-led. Productions work. My deal here is make sure everything is quality or don't do it. Please don't do it. You embarrass God and you embarrass the church and you embarrass the people in your church if it's not done well. Don't do it. Just decide to plan a year out. If it takes you 2 years to plan a fall festival and do it right, then don't. I don't like throwing stuff together. We have systems in place at our church where we cannot introduce a new something without so many weeks prior, so many weeks of advertising. That has nothing to do with community, but here we are. So that's one of our productions. We have 800 people for 5 performances. But in that, everyone fills out a registration form. And in that, I, for 10 minutes, preach the gospel. And we had 185 people give their life to the Lord during our Christmas productions last year, because we changed the focus to what it should be. And yes, we sang secular music, and it was crazy because we had some dancing. We hired a ballerina in town that doesn't go to our church, and oh man, does that?
What was the production?
We call it Season of Light. We had 40,000 LED, what used to be twinkle lights, in our whole facility, and they're timed. You know how you drive around town? We brought them indoors instead of outdoors. Now we've moved them outdoors also. We have a radio signal, that if you want to stay outside and watch, you can. But if you want to see the real deal, I mean, we are known as the church that has a Christmas thing. That's
what was the thing the lady was dancing in?
That was the first half of our production is secular Christmas music. Okay. And she was in that, and she was an angel lit up with synchronized lights, all remote control done, you know. I really don't know how it works. Tech guys know how it goes. But yeah, she was an angel. When Gabriel came, she came and pranced around. I don't know. Psalms talks about it to me. So anyway, you have to understand, I'm in a 109-year-old church, established. I have a large senior adult contingency who love the Lord and are my prayer support. But with that, implementing things, you know, it's crazy. I convinced them to go to the fair. When I was a kid from Wichita, it was a sin to go to the fair. And now we're going to the fair. And many of those adults come. Not all of them do, but many of them come. So it's pretty amazing. And even when we go to the movies now and rent the theater, who would have thought, years ago, my mom still thought, and she died a year ago, she thought I was awful that you're a minister and you go to the theater. Yeah, you're a Christian and you watch a DVD. All right, large event. Those are some of our large events. Teaching them. I'm using the Great Commission, the Great Commandment on this. This is more ongoing support. These we do parenting classes, celebrate recovery, grief recovery, financial peace, Crown Ministries. Not all of them are year-round. They're semester-oriented. Right now, Celebrate Recovery is a year-round recovery, but the other ones are more semesters. This semester just so happens my wife and I are teaching grace-based parenting. I don't know if any of you subscribe to Right Now media, but it's a great thing. There's access to the world. The staff's trying to get me to open that up to the whole church. I'm opposed to it because I would only allow in the church library things that I would agree with. Right Now has things I'm okay with as leaders, but I don't know that I have everyone. But anyway, we're using that. We use that a lot. This area is ongoing training and teaching and helping with that. These are the things we do. Pursue is spiritual growth. These are events that deal specifically with spiritual growth. Now, the criticism you may have with me on this might not necessarily attract a non-believer. But in our spiritual growth emphasis, we encourage people. Like Friday night and Saturday, we're hosting a women's conference, Kathy Tricoli's Hopes Alive. Right now we have close to 600 women. 600 women in our facility, all at the same time. So we encourage them to buy, to purchase a ticket for one of their friends that is not attending church or is not saved to come to that. But the truth is, most of the people at that event are probably going to be. But in a minute, I don't think I've already talked about the reputation. You want to come across in your community as having a reputation of reaching out to anyone and everyone, and to me that makes us more well-rounded. We don't do, I wish this wasn't being videoed. Sorry guys, I'm sorry. We don't do revivals at our church. That doesn't mean I'm opposed to them. And if you're an evangelist here today, I'm sorry. We do spiritual emphasis, of which we have used evangelists from time to time, but we don't always. Sometimes I've used pastors who are gifted in teaching that teach about certain things, or sometimes, honestly, we've just used our own staff. Thank you. Were you the one that held that up for Nathan?
No.
I was just wondering who did that for Nathan. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I'm just teasing. The precepts, Bible studies, I'm going to move on, so if you have any questions. Then we do specific targeted groups, and this is some of the stuff Nathan was talking about. We adopt schools, our church adopts schools. We have 3 schools that are low-income schools of our like 8 elementary schools. Those 3 schools we adopt. We make an agreement with the school that if there's ever a need in the school, they call us. And the schools call us. It's usually the school counselor. Oftentimes, though, it also is a teacher. We've built this up to have this credibility. But we go and we buy hygiene items for any students that teacher or counselor. We've purchased whole wardrobes for students before. They call the church, and then we reference that to a wonderful layman in our church that has taken that on as her whole ministry. She goes, and we have people that donate just to that. That's called on call, is what we call that for there. With that, we give treats to teachers when school starts, when second semester starts, and we thank them with treats when school ends. That gives credibility. They know that they can trust us. With this is we have this thing called Hope Project, which would be kind of like Backpack, except the school, we rotate between the 3 schools. One school's almost 600 students. We have shoe boxes we fill out with specific things. We wrap them in Christmas wrap, and you come Sunday morning, you check out however many boxes you're going to check out, and with that is the student's name and the grade they're in. In cities, they wouldn't let you do this kind of thing. That would break all the HEPA, whatever, you know. So they take that, the laymen do, they take it home, they look at it, they pray for that student, they go and buy the things prescribed, they come back, and we as a church on a Wednesday night, whoever comes, we go through every single box to make sure that no one broke any rules. And there are, and it's usually the elderly ones that break the rules. They buy them, or try to slip in a $20 gift card, or a $50 bill, crazy stuff. They try to slip. Well, they have to be exactly the same, because then at this, they have an assembly. The kids have a big assembly. They don't know they're getting ready to walk out and have Christmas. They let us, 3 of us from every church and from our church in every classroom, and we hand the boxes to the students. And then we start getting great response from the teachers of students that would have never been given anything at all for Christmas. That's something we do to reach out to the community. We host a children's fair in the fall. We gave free haircuts to about 130 kids, and we had tables and tables of clothes. We hand them Walmart bags, whatever plastic bag. They go through, the moms do, pick whatever they want. It's free. Take them all. They leave. They don't leave. Actually, we have a service, do the gospel message, play games. We gave a whole pallet of watermelons this year. So we had a watermelon feed, and someone donated some pigs, and we had pork burgers instead of beef burgers, and we fed everyone that was there. It was a great time. Some of the schools offer tutoring. 30 minutes left. Thank you. Offer tutoring. That can't be true. Offer tutoring, and we provide the meal for the tutoring. Our church, they call us, just tell us what night the tutoring is. They know we'll come give a meal, and we make sure that they get a meal for that. I'm gonna go ahead and move on. This is for individuals. We offer counseling at our church, psychological counseling. I'm privileged to have a doctor, a counselor on staff. He's not paid by us, but we have in the budget an amount for counseling where he subsidizes the counseling. We provide the office for his private practice, and he is also an ordained minister. He's listed on our staff, although technically we're not paying, we're not giving him anything.
Is he ordained through the Nazarene Church?
Church of the Nazarene, yeah. Although that wouldn't matter, but yes, he is. Yeah. He's pastored on our district as well. With that, seriously, how many minutes am I done?
I don't even know, just go.
Yeah, like 2 minutes.
You have my time to go.
It's incredible. There's a judge, one of our county judges, he is the sole counselor that does all of the domestic violence mediation. So anyone that's on trial for domestic violence has to go to him, and he's the mediator. And I sit in my office sometimes when these people come, I can hear yelling and screaming sometimes. And I sit there and I just praise God that they're walking in our church. These are people that would have never stepped foot, but the court ordered them to come to First Church of the Nazarene. And it's so neat. And from there, he refers them to Celebrate Recovery. From there, they're referred to parenting classes. And it's really a great thing. Yeah, we lay out literature because they have to wait on him because he's always late. And they read literature that we provide for them about the Lord. Benevolence giving, we're bigger on saying no than we ever on saying yes. What we do is we offer help. We don't enable people. I believe we're in a society now. Someone that calls the church generally that wants something only wants money now, unless it's a church member, and then we treat them different if they're a church member. So we don't actually give money. Of course, no one gives money anymore. Hopefully you escort them down to a grocery store. And honestly, you want to buy them only perishable goods because our grocery store, you can't return perishable goods, but you can return others because really they just want alcohol and tobacco. Forgive me if you think I'm a pessimist, but it's reality. Don't give gift cards anymore.
Do you guys have a program where you keep track of what you've given and the other churches in the town can access it like through an intranet?
No, they can call us and they know we do it.
Huh?
We don't have a
Charity
share.
tracker.
What is it called?
Charity tracker.
Charity tracker.
We don't. I wish we did. The last community I lived in, everything went through them, and actually we gave the money to them.
Right.
They dispersed it.
Right.
But our community isn't open to that yet.
Okay.
But we do keep track of everyone we give. The last time, they're not allowed to come back and ask unless they went through financial. I have a guy at our church that will give financial counseling to anyone that's come. It's kind of fun. Single parent elder care. And to make it successful, plan well, do it well. Plan for enough or prepare or plan long enough out. Build a team around you and get the word out. Promotion, we do an electronic billboard. Where we live, advertising is cheap, which is kind of nice. So we have electronic billboards. We have an ad that's always on that billboard, always. It's a monthly fee we pay. And anytime we have something big happening, then we insert a different ad and they pull the one that's always on off so that there's always rotation. And just for me, we always keep something that looks familiar. You don't want to change. You want to make sure, like we have our church actual structure, which goes against some PR stuff. Our church is a structure because our church looks like Disney World Space Mountain. And everyone in town knows the round church. We're a round church, and it's crazy. And you can see our steeple from ever. So we always keep somewhere on all the ads, whatever you do, keep that because it's constant. Or if you use a phrase, make sure you don't change that phrase every few years. Keep that phrase the same. We do radio ads. We do the newspaper. I know Nathan said it's from middle and older, but that helps with most of our people read our newspaper online. If you pay for the ad, that means it's online as an ad. And our online paper is also, we have a Hutch Post that also goes in there, and then we have something that's given free out weekly. So if we put it in there, that'd be great. We also do, I didn't think I put on there MOPS. Last Friday we had 55 single mothers of preschools and 85 children. And that's a fun thing to be a part of as well. No, I do think help me out with what time is.
They're not carrying, they just want you to keep going.
2:03. 2:03, and I was supposed to be done at 2, right?
Well, it's break time until 2:15, so if you need to wrap up, go ahead.
Okay. I would say make sure your staff's involved in the community. One of my staff guys on the board for a pregnancy center. We have a chaplain of our football teams, of our college teams, there's a guy from our church that's on the State Board of Education who's involved, who speaks on behalf of our church. If you don't yet have a reputation, build one. Go to city council meetings, be a representation if you can. You know, just any of those kinds of things help. Your church has a reputation, right? And you just don't always know if it's the best one. Any questions? If there's anyone that's not going to be here later today, I have a handout that I'm doing for the how-to. If for some reason you're not going to be here, let me know. I'll give you that handout.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Just for implementation purposes for churches, I'm sure you guys didn't start out doing all of those. Start out doing something and do it well, and then add to that.
If you're not doing anything, pick one thing and do that one thing well, and then add. It depends on how many volunteers you have. Like Nathan said, you don't use the same people for every single thing. So if you only have a handful of people, don't wear them out. Yeah, implement one good thing. He gave a great handout with how-tos that you can then manipulate and massage to meet whatever it is that your deal is. There's so many, you guys know that there's so many resources out there on outreach. For $40 you can buy, right now I'm using some of the resources from their 30-day challenge. It has 5 sermons in it for 5 weeks, all the advertising, all that. Get into that stuff. That's outreach. They have great stuff. And honestly, I change it a little. We tweak. My staff, I give them the PowerPoint stuff, and they change it so it looks like us. I don't give credit. Probably should. Sorry, but I don't say we're doing outreaches, whatever. I don't do that kind of stuff. Right now, I'm reading Nelson Searcy's book called Fusion. Pretty good if you need assimilation stuff. I wouldn't implement everything he has though, but he has some good stuff. I wouldn't implement everything I've said. You know where you're at. So I've been done. They've been lingering me.